Welcome to the Wargaming.net League of North America for World of Tanks. Tonight is day 5 of 11 for our regular season, where we're getting ready to find out who is going to position themselves for a chance to get their spot in Las Vegas, Nevada on August 17th and 18th. My name is Dan Frodan-Joe, and joining with me on the set is Randall Rukel-Holcomb. Randall, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing good. I had a pretty good weekend of tanks. Did you get any good games going on past few days?
I've been distracted with some things, but I did get a few good.
You still managed to get some good games.
Yeah, I got some good T-71 games in just today. I'm pretty proud of them.
That's right. It's, we're going to be putting out lots of cool content related to what Randall's been preparing all throughout the week, and we hope you guys are entertained. And we'll be talking more about that throughout the broadcast. But we also have another person join on the set to give us analysis as well as illustration. It is Andre Gritorp Hengchua. Did I say your last name right?
Hengchua.
Hengchua.
It works. It works.
I got to emphasize the U a little bit harder, don't I? Andre, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just happy to be here. We didn't have enough World of Tanks between our, when we last broadcast and now. So it's nice to be back and obviously casting some tanks.
Yeah, you're looking really sharp in that suit. And we're really fun. We're really happy to bring to you guys lots of great action, but we do realize that today is day 1 of the week because we're beginning on Thursday, and we do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday broadcast. So let's go ahead and do a rewind and talk about the games that happened this past Sunday in our backtrack. Our first game that we want to highlight was the Cazadores versus River of Blood, and we saw Stryker take an awesome hold-down position over here in the G2 corner.
Yeah, that's really a fantastic position. From there, he was able to put out so much damage and took none in return. And with that little bit of lead in health, they just took apart the Cazadores.
It wasn't a little lead, it was a ginormous lead, as River of Blood was able to swarm Cazadores after this, and they would even the match on Himmelsdorf, inevitably winning the brawl. As you can see, the last closing moments, Logos and CES had no chance to handle the crossfire and the flank, but as we got into battle number 5, where everything was on the line, we saw River of Blood get completely flanked, and as a result, was dropping the series 1-2.
Yeah, that was some awesome T-32 play. I think Clutch was really excited to see those T-32s just clean up.
We're really excited to see also the next series, Scurry Hard versus Refuse to Die. And it was, again, a big push initially from Refuse to Die, but Scurry Hard was able to react like they have many times throughout this league thus far and get a good counter-position flank.
Oh, yeah, Squirrelin and who is that over there with him?
Blasi.
They had an awesome flank that just took apart the Refuse to Die push, just decimated it.
And they were able to really hold down the 3-line rather, and was able to shut down any aggression from Refuse to Die. Scurry Hard would go on to win the series. Moving on to our third series that are highlighted, we have a T1 2v2. And it's going to be between Relics and Xerox, or Zero-X.
F-Zero-X.
F-Zero-X, and they won it, and that shut down so much vision for Simple Tankers, and from that point on, it was just a steamroll train for Fulcrum.
Yeah, they just put that cat pressure on with those 2 T1s, proving the importance of T1s, and then they forced a fight in the Delta Village, where they just cleaned up Simple Tankers at that point.
A scary moment, because we thought for a second that Nagatron was able to get the kill on Junior, but it was just barely missed. But of course, the series was underlined by Hugo Maximus' kill on Slayer. For all of our VODs, if you want to catch some of those matches, because you said, I want to see those matches in detail in terms of tank picks and strategies, head on over to WGLNA.com. We can find a full list of VODs for our previous sets. Now, we do want to talk about today's matches as well, because, why revel in the past? Let's go ahead and break down what we have tonight, Randall.
Yeah, so the first match of the night is Nerve versus Cunninghams. And then following up that is Simp versus Wreak Havoc. I'm really looking forward to that match. Now our third is Mop versus Strike, Fulcrum versus River of Blood.
That's going to be a good one.
And our last one is Simplistic versus Ermagerd Kernavern. We call them EC.
Yeah, we'll call them EC for short. It makes our lives easier, and it might make your life easier as well. I also flubbed, Randall, and I forgot that we always do a tradition here at WGL, which is to talk about what happened this day in history. So today is July 18th, and we do like to point out that today in 1914 was when the United States officially established the Air Force and recognized the aircraft as part of the military. So we do want to thank everybody who served in part of that military branch, including Clutch, who joined us as a dedicated observer, and he definitely did fist bump. He was like,
Yeah, he's like, yeah, represent.
Air Force power. So thank you very much, Clutch, as well as all our Air Force aces. That's the terminology they use, right?
Aces for pilots.
Our pilots.
Yeah.
Before we continue, we also want to remind people about our rules set because we realize that some people have been watching. They maybe play some Clan Wars. They don't know exactly how 742 works. Randall, can you break it down for us?
Yeah, so pretty simply, 742, the 7 is the number of players per team, which is 7 players, then 42 points is the amount of points you have to work with. Each tank is given a number of points based on its tier. So you have tier 1 up to tier 8 tanks. Tier 8's the maxed. And then each match is a best of 5 battles.
That's
so
right.
best of 5.
First to 3,
First.
usually. But if we have 5 battles that happen and there's a couple draws, whoever has the highest score at the end of the draws will end up being the victor. Now, if they're tied, we just keep playing out until all 8 maps in our pool has been exhausted. Also important to note that if 42 tier points per team doesn't have to be satisfied as long as you abide by the 8 tier maximum. So you can have 7 players, but you can have 40 tier points if you so desire now. Not a lot of teams do that, but we have seen that in the past. Right?
It's happened because it used to happen maybe sometimes if you wanted the perfect arty. You know, if you wanted that arty, you didn't want a tier 8.
Arties.
Or all arty.
Just bring all Su-26s or whatnot, because I know some people love that.
That used to be a really cool thing. Su-26 used to be the coolest tank. Bison used to be that tank.
That's right.
It's really too bad that the Bison is a tier higher and a little bit less.
It still can be brought.
Yeah.
It's just a lot more difficult to work it in. We can talk more about this in strategy later,
of course,
as we have more in-depth things to talk about. Because we don't want to keep the kids around too long, because we're going to get our first match underway, which is again Nerve versus Cunninghams. Before we go to a quick break, let's also show the groups of how the conference divisions actually section off here at WGL. So in Group A, we have Fulcrum, River of Blood, Turtle Police, Refuse to Die, Bear Huggers, Scurry Hard, Simple Tanker, and Cazadores. A pretty tough group, if I say so myself.
Yeah, but I kind of like Group B. I'm really a fan of Simp. Simplistic's a strong team as well.
Bias.
No, a little bit of bias, I have to admit. Mop 4 is all right, but Nerve has been making a fantastic showing.
That's right.
I really like them as a team, and they didn't come in with those high expectations. Strike, Cunninghams, Wreak Havoc is a very strong team, and Ermagerd Carnivern. Just to finish it up with EC. Yeah, I should just say EC.
That's right. You can switch it up however you want. Variety is the spice of life. And of course, those of you who have been watching from the very beginning of the broadcast can kind of tell that today is an emphasis on Group B with a cameo by Fulcrum and River of Blood later tonight. We do want to remind people to stay plugged in and interacting with us via social media. If you go to twitter.com/WGLNA or like us at Facebook at facebook.com/WGLNA, you can continue to interact with us. We also are very active on Reddit, as we do realize that that's a growing subreddit. They recently hit 10,000 readers or subscribers to that subreddit, so congratulations to that community. Yeah. And there's also a lot of clans, like Reddit 1 through 8 now, or 18.
So many Reddit clans.
I don't even know how many Reddit clans there are. I seem to bump into them
there
every
was
single time I play.
There was a thread on Reddit where some guy was keeping track of the number of Reddit users. I don't even remember what that number was. It was just massive. Thousands of people are in the Reddit clan. So really big congratulations to them. And they're actually doing a good job in Clan Wars.
It's cool. They're very active. I'd encourage you guys to check out the Reddit community as well. They like to share a lot of stuff and fun pictures, fun videos, as well as cool accomplishments and whatnot. So before we send you guys off to a break and get ready for our first match between Nerve and Cunninghams, we want to also introduce to you the betting bot, because we realize some people are looking at our Twitch chat channel and saying, what's going on at the beginning of every match? Well, here is me to explain it to you.
Hey there. Every fan of any game knows, betting on games adds more excitement and magnitude with each victory and defeat. Thanks to our knowledge of advanced nuclear physics and aerospace engineering, we found a way to have live betting for all of our Twitch TV viewers. Before every match, simply type into the chat !bet, the amount you want to wager, and the team that you're predicting. Betting closes as soon as the match begins. Everybody starts off with 10 points. If you lose your first 10, don't worry. You can always bet at least 10, even if you wind up at 0 once again. If you're feeling hot and lucky, you can bet up to a maximum of 100 points on a match. You can only bet points you have. Each week, we give prizes away to those who top our leaderboard. We're giving away gold and premium tanks to the highest scorers. After the prizes have been awarded, we will then reset the scores for the next round of betting. To catch the full schedule of matches, head on over to WGLNA.com. Good luck, because you're going to need it.
Welcome back to WGLNA. We're getting ready for our first match of the day, Nerve versus Cunninghams. And I believe we're actually prepared for the face-off. but we're actually going to get that sorted out in
I
just
hear the
a
call
second.
right
I hear
now.
the Skype calling
Yeah.
in my ear. Until then, I do want to kind of ask Randall about the matches of the day. Nerve versus Cunningham's the very beginning, the very first one. I'm really excited for it. What's your idea? What's your prediction about this series?
I think Nerve's going to take it. They've been doing so well, you know.
You've been
and
a Nerve fanboy ever since you've been watching them.
I wouldn't say a fanboy, but you know, you have to say when you think a team's going to do well. I think Nerve's going to go places. I mean, do you think they're going to go? I think they could make somewhere.
You know, one thing that's really interesting to note is that Nerve is the only undefeated team in this entire league. And when I mean undefeated, I mean they haven't dropped a single battle. It's been 3-0. 3-0. They have yet to drop a map. They're looking really strong, but Cunninghams has also shown a lot of life. Their series, when they lose, has been really close, like against Ermagerd Vern. In fact, they are on the line right now, getting ready for the face-off. So we are joined currently by Indy and A. Martin. How you guys doing today? Let's start off with Nerve. Indy, you guys haven't dropped a single battle. You guys must be feeling great in this league. Is anyone going to be able to stop you guys?
Oh, certainly. Anyone can stop it at any point.
Well, I do want
We
to
are
ask.
feeling good, though.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I apologize. I'm really glad you guys are feeling good, feeling confident. I want to ask, what do you guys attribute to your success of not dropping a single battle yet?
Probably being able to predict our opponent. Predict the moves.
Sweet.
Winning
yeah.
the chess game.
I was thinking it was somewhere along the ways of just the players. Like, you guys are playing exceptionally. There's been this. I like watching Nerve play because I feel like all you guys are very technically skilled. This is just a compliment. It's not even a real question. I'm sorry. It's just I'm liking to watch you guys. I like watching Fulcrum, and I think you guys are gonna take it. So
Nerve,
Cunningham's-
independent, will you give
will
Rukio
you
your
give
autograph?
me? Yeah. Can you take up some real estate here? I could use that. I
That's
could use an
basically what
icon.
he's asking right
Yeah.
now.
Fox style.
Yeah. But Cunninghams have been doing pretty well. So.
That's right. Amor, I want to ask you, Indy's just basically saying his opponents have been really predictable. What do you have in response to that?
I think that's a pretty accurate characterization of the two teams he's played. I felt really disappointed in our first match against EC, the way we played. Should have been definitely on top there because both them and Simplistic were very predictable teams, kind of one track. So hopefully we'll give them a couple different looks today, make it a little harder.
That's right. In fact, both of you guys, the previous two series that you've played, both have been against Ermagerd Vern and Simplistic. I do want to ask you, A. Martin, though, how has practice been able to how much did you guys be able to practice over the past weekend? What have you guys been doing to prepare for Nerve specifically? Have you been able to watch their games at all?
I had watched their games, one of them live, and the other one I've watched a couple times since. But in terms of practice, I think we actually only ended up getting one scrim in since our last match, just due to scheduling and stuff. But we're feeling pretty good. We're on the East server, thankfully, so no lag issues, hopefully, and we'll go from there.
All right, cool. So that does it for our pre-interview questions. Nerve is the higher seed, so we're going to ask Indy to call the coin flip, the virtual coin flip.
Heads.
Heads? All right, so let's go ahead and toss the coin. Heads it is. Good call, my man.
We're deferring.
All right, so he's going to defer the map choice to A. Martin. What's it going to be, buddy?
Prorokovka.
Proc is going to be the map choice, and what will be the spawn choice for Independent?
We'll take south.
All right, so south side for Nerve, north side for Cunninghams. Good luck, gentlemen, in your upcoming match.
Thank you.
Welcome to Prohorovka. As you can already see, Greetorp has basically lined out all three possibilities where you can go up the middle or across the train tracks or hug the forest. In this case, Andre, what are we really seeing developing?
Well, one side's taking the east, one side's taking the west. Therefore, it's going to be very difficult for both these teams to engage. They're going to poke around in the center, trying to get pot shots. Normally, the east has better hits on the west just because of the flatness. Or excuse me, the opposite. The east. No, I'm right. East has better shots on the west because of the flatness of the west. But realistically, it just comes down to if you make a mistake, you're going to lose out. Else, you know, we see a lot of draws in this scenario.
Go ahead and hop onto Rukio. Thank you, Andre, by the way, for that phenomenal intro analysis. Let's have on the Rukio screen so we can see what our tank selection is. Randall, what's the tank composition
Yeah,
looking
so the Cunninghams have brought a 5100 to Prohorovka, and that's an interesting pick. Now, they've got the two T69s and two 1390s, which is totally normal. This is very normal to see. T69's a great just a great damage dealer, has a very, very brief reload. It's about, with their crew skills and stuff, it's about 15 seconds, which is a
Really?
very short amount of time. So
Wow, I
they
did not
can
know
they can get some pretty short. Now that was just my calculations. I feel like the math was wrong, but I redid it
That
and
was
it
like
was right.
fast. I'm like, well, I clearly need to play my T69 a lot more because it feels like 25 seconds.
Well, they if they're running rations and all that stuff, they can get it
Ah,
way
you're
way
right,
down.
you're
Yeah,
right.
exactly. And but for the other side, for Nerve, they've got 2 T69s and 3 1390s. So instead of a 5100, they've got a 1390. Now that's a cool argument actually. A lot of teams have in bringing autoloaders on open maps. The 1390 makes a fantastic scout, but the 5100 is a great tank as well. It's an autoloader with more damage in its clip,
yes.
and it's a huge target, which is the disadvantage. But the thing is, if you bring it and you mix it in with the T69s and you play the east side, like we see Nerve doing, this east side strat, you could bring a 5100, you could make it work. It's just going to be very difficult to find an engagement because I don't think Cunninghams are going to be willing to push into this kind of just formation.
That's right. We do apologize because I think there's some color mix-up. It looks like the Cunninghams might be red, but they indeed are the blue team on the east side within the village of Prohorovka. You can see Nerf slowly but surely pushing up the forest just to verify no straggling T1s might be in the corner to spot. T1s are vital on proc just because of how much sight you can give, and the crossfire across the hills can be almost game deciding early on. You don't want to lose a single tank early on, and Nerve is going to do this a lot quicker than I've expected. Before, Nerve has kind of played a little bit more passive in the early phase, but now they're starting to push really aggressively to the B2 corner.
Oh, I don't think that's actually going to get them anywhere, because the thing is, Cunningham's on the other side, they've got a T1 waiting, and the shots they can have from the mid, Cunningham's not gonna get, these colors are mixing me up here. This is in the East, you got blue team, which is Cunningham's. Yeah,
Yes,
Cunningham's
blue
is going to
team's
have
in
great
the east. They're-
shots.
they're in the village.
Yeah, Nerve.
Yeah,
on
they're
the
going to
other.
have pretty good crossfire, especially from King Kong, as you can see, making sure to get good shots over in the E line. Even if Nerve is able to shut down that T1 early, Caster Starwind, who is over in B6, they still can't do anything with that knowledge. Can they just take the T1 out there and then continue kind of pressure off Cunninghams on the east?
What you have to do is you have to kill the T1, and then what's the move that comes off of that? You have to deal with the fact that you've lost your eyes, and you have to cover that. So they'll probably move a tank where that T1 was.
And then they can bum rush that tank maybe, or even
Yeah.
what do they do from that point?
Well, it depends on, you have to get more recon. At that point, you just take the T1 advantage, you take one of your own T1s, and you try and do recon, or you try and, 2v1 on the south or something. Create a big distraction. Trying to attack from west to east or east to west is so difficult because you just, there's so many choke points. We see this right here, the T69 getting spotted.
Yeah.
He can't poke out.
In fact, the 5100 played by Commander J has also been spotted for the Cunninghams. No damage has been dealt yet, but the
Ooh,
line
he
of
actually
sight.
bounces a shell.
Oh, okay.
Commander J actually bounced a shell
Commander
in
J
his
seems to
5100.
be indestructible on Prokhorovka. He
So-
just, no matter what happens, whenever someone's firing at him, the chances of him hitting gets dropped by like 40%.
He just has this magical aura around him.
He does. It's like the shield on Temple Run. Just somehow he's just able to take a couple shots that he doesn't necessarily are able to in any other scenario.
I wish I had that in Pups.
Or like a little power up that just goes around the map where you
Just
become
a consumable shield. Commander J's shield.
That would
of-
be slightly overpowered. Wargaming, please. Nerf shields.
But then everyone could
I
have
have shields all the time though because I have Rukyo
Oh, yeah.
around with me in platoons.
I'll protect you.
He is the shield.
I make great cover.
You do.
I
You
do.
do. Especially when I play the T-34.
Oh,
You make
best.
excellent hold down.
Just turn myself sideways. Whatever tank I'm in, IS-3, C-32, just you got perfect hold down right there.
Well, there is no hold down spot for Cunninghams as they are initiating a red cap, but of course it's just to pull Nerve a little bit further back, but they do manage to shut down both of the T1s simultaneously over in the A line. Caster Starwind has dropped, and A Martin was promptly eliminated by Marsh 166 in the 1390. That makes Cunningham's a lot less, that gives them a lot less map control. In fact, the matter is that they are spotted over into the Bulls by the 5 line. Cunninghams have to be extremely careful. We still have 3.5 minutes left. Anything can happen. You have to be very cautious.
Yeah, Cunningham's made, I think, a mistake there. when they put those T1s. They should have pushed up more, and it was really bold to try and push like that, but now we've actually got a fight. 1390, Silent Demise taking so many hits.
Red Paradise is tracked. He doesn't use his kit because he's confident his teammates can come to cover him. Instead, Explosive Brutality is able to finish the kill while shielding his teammates. Excellent switch and bait from Nerve. They're able to take down not one, but 2 tier 8s as a T69 King Kong has been annihilated as well. It doesn't come at a cost. Commander J finishes off Red Paradise. In fact, 2 members from Nerve has dropped, but there still is actually, there is no tier advantage. It's still the tier 2, the 2 T1s that have been eliminated in favor of Nerve.
Yep, that was amazing. Although, I have to say the focus fire out of Cunninghams could have been better right there. You had 2 1390s that were both 1-hits. They got finished off at the same time. There goes B-Guck. Oh, man.
Yeah, B-Guck was not eliminated by Psycho Killa as Psycho Killa was clipping, but Hornsby was able to finish the shot, and all of a sudden Nerve once again has that tier 8 advantage. And on top of that, Lieutenant Carter has been capping. Tri-Beam will try to stop that as he will force Lieutenant Carter off the cap over in the north. But still, with that spot on Tri-Ream, Nerve can continue to close the gap. Shots aligned all the way from the E-line. I can't see if they're hitting necessarily.
Oh, one of them hit Tri-Ream. Tri-Ream is down to 170 hit points at this point. Commander J is going to try and move to cover him, moving towards the mid, but he's going to have to take on a 1390, and I'm pretty sure he's having battle buddies very close by, those T69s.
The only way Tri-Ream can live is he gets an extremely low roll from those T69s. Marsh gonna get cornered by Commander J. Something can still happen if Cunninghams is able to get one more tier 8 kill. They can force out a draw. Still 2 minutes in the match. It feels like an eternity for Cunninghams.
Oh man, I just don't know what Cunninghams can do right here. This is such a tight spot, but it's so possible they could do this. You have Commander J here who has that amazing shield of take no damage, and he has put out a little damage on Marsh. Marsh has taken hits. The 1390 Tri-Ream though is taking damage from T1s in the south.
Oh, he's down to 100 health, which means one shot will kill him, and it does, as he is promptly eliminated. And that leaves Commander J as the last member alive. He needs to make something happen. Commander J, Proc is his home turf. He is gonna set Marsh on fire. Marsh does end up dropping Commander J. How much ammo does he have left?
I counted 2 shots fired. This will be the 3rd. He's got 3 left to finish off Psycho Killa and Hornsby.
Right now, the tier advantage is strictly 8. Psycho Killa needs to stay alive. He is the lowest member of
and he's
Nerve
spotted.
left.
Psycho's spotted. If Commander J can take him down, they can draw it out. Then you can see Cunninghams take this to another match.
45 seconds on the clock. Commander J still, the pressure is on him. He has to be the one instigating aggression. Hornsby draws out a misfire. Commander J takes one in return. Hornsby has been exposing his side, trying to bait out more shots. Commander J, how many shots does he have left? He's down to 350 health, 27 seconds on the clock.
Does he have one more?
I don't think it's enough. He does end up dropping, and Nerve takes battle number 1 on Prokhorovka. And wow, that was a pretty well-organized tactical display. All right, welcome to Ensk, where we're having battle number 2. In the north side, the red team, it is Nerve, and the south side is Cunninghams, down 0-1. And Cunninghams are going to take a more defensive perch. Normally we see teams kind of hug a little bit farther up the western side, but instead they choose to stop over in the H line. Randall, why don't we break down the tank selection real quick so that people can know what we're expecting.
So both teams have 2 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and a T69. We've got a mirror matchup from both teams.
Cool.
So I love seeing mirror matchups.
Yeah.
They're just
shows whoever demonstrates more knowledge and ability with their tanks.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just fun to see that on Ensk. This is a really strong lineup because you have 4 heavy tanks. 2 of them are just strong autoloaders, and then you get this really cool burst out of the T69s. And they have such a short reload between that burst that you can really put out great damage in the kind of engagements that you can get on Ensk.
Not to mention that there's cool spots where you can reverse angle with the IS-3 and make it really difficult for teams to push up certain alleyways. That way they feel like lanes are shut down, and as a result, their movement has been funneled. You can get cool flanks based off that. You can even see Cunningham slowly pushing up to that F line.
Yeah, they're taking that map control right now. And Nerve in their position, we've seen so many times now where that kind of defense has been just taken apart. by a team that is well organized and scouts properly. So if Cunninghams can just scout their enemy properly, get ready for their assault, they can, in the last few minutes, because it's going to take a little while to scout out the position of Nerve, they can just go and take them apart. Similar to what we saw from Simp versus, I believe it was Strike, just the other day.
And even Nerve versus Simplistic, where they just took a very, very defensive posture over in very similar corner to what they did on Ents.
Oh, but
and then at the 2-minute mark, they completely rearranged, but that's not the case at all. They're going down the 1 line instead.
Yet Nerve is going to make, wow, this is a cool push. They waited until 7 minutes and about 20 seconds, I'd say, before they started to make their move. They've knocked down a few trees, and actually, King Kong might spot this push out in just a minute here. I'm not sure, because tanks are moving up. We've got Nerve at their corner. They've stalled a little bit. I think they're expecting there to be enemy tanks, and they've got a T1 that's going to try and spot the corner, lead it off. On the other side, Cunninghams have a T69. He's pulled back, though. He's peeked around. Ooh, he does spot.
The T1, A. Martin has been spotted, but Marsh whiffs on the IS-3, so does Leshero. A. Martin able to get into that nice little corner, but he's eventually taken out by General Scott. But that is enough information for Cunninghams to react. Originally, Trireme on the IS-3 was a little bit further up, closer to E2, but now he has taken the keyholes as a protection because he can't take on 4 tanks at once.
Yeah, and now Silent Demise and his 5100 battle buddy, Commander J, are moving up. They're all the way in E3, very close to where their T1 died. So they're getting ready for that assault, and I believe they're going to try and go in for a pincer here in a moment, but Nerve won't be there.
I do want to take this time to ask Retorp, because he does love Ents as one of his favorite maps, especially for brawling in the IS-3. What's your take currently on this position? What angle does Nerve have to take here?
It's going to be difficult. Right now, it really isn't that type of positional, or excuse me, it is a positional game, but it really isn't like a defensive game right now. Both teams are trying to be very offensive. We see more mind games coming out of Nerve, which I love to see right now. They're going to set up a trap, try to kind of collapse the position, the good spread that Cunningham's had, and then of course take advantage of that once they're a little bit out of position, they don't have the good arc.
Buck is going to take a couple of shots. Independent has been shut down, but his job has been done. He's been getting some proxy spots on Biguk. His name is so hard to pronounce. Why you do this to me? Is the B or the G silent, Rookil?
I don't know. I'm just going to call him
Buck. Or is it the K? Is it just Bigu?
Bigu.
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 Bigu is down to 459. He cannot take another shot. Another high roll could just end his life, depending on the IS-3 hitting him up to 488 worth of damage. Silent Demise and King Kong going to push up the 3-line and confront Psycho Killer, but one of them's going to drop down. Silent Demise is also going to drop, and just like that, Nerve was able to set up the counter position and take down 2 members, maybe even 3. Commander J is 1v3 against 3 members of Nerve, and that is going to be terrible news for the Cunninghams, even though Commander J does manage to take out a member while he's retreating.
There is still a chance here. You've got 3 tier 8s, 2 tier 8s against 3 now. Now, Lechero, Explosive Brutality, and General Scott haven't taken any hits right now, so you got to give it to Nerve right now, but Cunninghams could do this. They could really do this.
They need to make magic happen. They need to get some bounces from Leshero, but Leshero does manage to connect again. Biguk exposing his side. General Scott going in for the flank, doesn't want to leave his battle buddy behind, and he doesn't. Trireme is going to get sandwiched, preventing him from being able to get a shot on Leshero or Willie. Trireme is completely distracted by the dual sandwich
but he
of
does
Nerve.
go
He
for
gets it
Leshero.
anyways. It won't even matter too much as Trireme, the last few moments of the match are winding down as he is not allowed to escape. Where are you trying to go? Just trying to go to the club. Where's your ID? I forgot it in the car. Well, no entry for you, Trireme, as Ensk has been shut down to any underaged members from Cunninghams. Is he underage? Because I know that they're young to you.
I wouldn't know, really. We should probably ask.
Catcher Starwind is the only member alive. Maybe we can ask him if he can stay alive long enough.
He is going to return to base, though, and we're going to see a little T1, fight here, a little brawl out of them. It won't affect the match too much, but it's cool to see T1s take on T1s because I do like seeing who the better T1 is.
It's always sad to see the last T1 alive for his team and how helpless you feel sometimes in situations like this, because the match obviously can go on for another couple minutes.
Oh, it looks like he's accidentally found General Scott.
Oh no, he might even get taken down by Lieutenant Carter. And instead, though, General Scott gets the final shot. Nerve goes up 2-0 very quickly. Welcome to Himmelsdorf. In the top half of the map, the red team, we have Nerve currently up 2-0. And in the bottom, we have Cunninghams, the blue team. Now, Grito, we didn't really get to ask your thoughts about the game before it started, but let's talk a little bit about the movement patterns and what we can expect in this battle based off what we've seen.
Well, especially based on both teams, I'm really expecting them to play it pretty defensive. We saw them play on Ensk, which is one of the city maps, which is one of the more enclosed maps, and similar to Himmelsdorf, they both played it the same way. A little bit aggressive, but very methodical, just making sure they're not completely out of position for the first engagement.
Something I also want to point out, Rando, and we can even hop, are we on your screen? Go ahead and press that tab button and bring out, what do we see once again from the Cunninghams?
4 5100s. I think they.
I think they're taking their previous series to heart, right? It's the team that brought the most 5100 would win. At least that was when Rotterdam was pointing out when Cunninghams was playing last.
Yeah, it's. I want to see 5 5100s. That would be crazy, right
you
there.
You see 6, and you're like, that's not right. We're gonna have a talk, Cunninghams. A. Martin, what are you trying to pull?
That would be
like,
so.
I thought it was 747.
Yeah, I mean, no problem, right? We can bring 47 points. No one notices for 3 or 4 battles.
Yeah, I mean, that would be an oversight, which many heads would have to roll for us to compensate. Meanwhile, we see T1 spotting each other on the hill. Usually we kind of see teams send maybe the T69 up there, but in this case, Explosive Brutality is on the opposite side. He's at C3 with that keyhole trying to spot if anyone's going down that 3 line.
Yeah. Oh, and A. Martin does take a few shots out here. Lieutenant Carter could get, if he plays this right, he has a little advantage because A. Martin might not be able to finish him out with all of his shells. It takes pretty much an entire clip for a T1 to kill another T1 most of the time. And at this range, damage. He's down to 104.
Nice.
Good job, A. Martin. Lieutenant Carter, I was thinking you had it there for a second, but A. Martin is doing a very good job in this T1. This is a T1 v T1 fight. I wonder, are there going to be any T69s or 5100s coming to back him up?
No, I was just saying that as well. The Explosive Brutality instead is at the keyhole at C3, trying to spot if anyone's going down the 3 line.
Does look like he's moving though. I think he might be coming over to the hill.
He could be rotating because Lieutenant Carter is down in health, and you don't want to lose that T1 if A. Martin was able to get the good spot. Now he can miss a couple shots and still be able to kill Lieutenant Carter, and that little duel can determine so much.
Yeah, going into a T1 fight with even the slightest amount of health is practically asking to die. Just a T1 fight, usually if you win head to head, you're still left with like probably 7, 10 health or something.
Yeah.
So at this point, Lieutenant Carter needs backup. He really needs that T69, and I'm really expecting to see the T69 Explosive Brutality here, just moving on over. He should be doing this right now if they want to win this hill.
Lieutenant Carter needs a battle buddy, but he's not going to get one. Explosive Brutality says, I'm going to take a pit stop over on the flag, as A. Martin is still going to keep him pinned. Meanwhile, the rest of Cunninghams is still lined up in Tank Alley, a little bit farther up.
Ooh, they're backing off, though, a few of them. I see, let's see. 5100s are backing out. I think maybe we're going to see a west push here out of the Cunninghams, trying to, and they do have spots. They have spotted some tanks. I got to jump to B-Guck here, and I want to see who that is. That is Marsh and Lechero in the IS-3s, so they know exactly where Nerve is, and Nerve better be getting out of that position right now because Cunninghams has to be planning for the counterattack.
Yes, and it's going to be a very interesting series or dilemma for both teams as Nerve is making a mass reorganization towards the hill, but Cunninghams is no longer going to be there. And normally if you get the hill, you have such an advantage of line of sight down the G line where you can rain down shots if you want to push that way, if you just send a T69 up to be able to get some nice side shots. But that's not going to be the case because Cunninghams, they're all going down the 2 line, or at least that's what they're posturing up to be. I don't know if that's actually what they're going to commit to.
I think they're just waiting for one last person to get into the fight, but these T1s are still at a standoff on the hill. The timing of this hill thing, this hill probably where a T1, A. Martin, Explosive Brutality.
I think a spot, Explosive Brutality has revealed himself, and that can tell Cunninghams, well,
that
I guess
tells
that's
them
one
so
less
much.
tier 8 to worry about.
They're moving, they're booking it now. And that T69 missing the shot, that was Explosive Brutality. If he'd made that, I mean, that still would have set off the push, but now they don't have that T1, and here comes the push from Cunninghams.
Spearheaded by King Kong himself, as right now Cunninghams is spraying themselves all across the train tracks. making sure that they can always collapse onto anybody they see. Independent will most likely be the first person to spot any Cunningham movement over on the western side. Meanwhile, Starwind is still, oh, sorry, Starwind's not on the T1. That is Buck. The G is silent. He's still making sure to try to spot any kind of heavy movement over in the D line, but he still hasn't seen anybody. So Cunningham's probably starting to deduce everything. And with that many heavy spotted, Nerve will have to rearrange, but it's a little bit awkward because they're kind of stacked all across the A line.
It's crazy fight, shots going out, and Psycho Killer taking a few hits, I think.
Oh, a nice ricochet. Explosive Brutality was able to escape with only one shot taken. And that's really nice for Nerve, and they can kind of use this opportunity to get a better spot so they can get flanks. Cunninghams, they can technically keep stacking as well. Trireme taking a shot, and they're starting to back off.
Yeah, King Kong here, though, is in a really cool position. I think he's very deliberately angled his armor, so he's going to be reverse angled to multiple tanks, to the IS-3s and to any 5100. So, wow, I didn't see him take any hits, and he's got a few little one little bounce indicator on him, so...
Ah, nice. I like that Leshero rushed to the keyhole, hold down position to prevent Cunningham from being able to take a strong foothold in there as well.
But he has taken a hit.
Yeah, he has taken a hit. But, I mean, as a result, Cunningham's has not been able to push any farther.
Yeah,
they stopped at B4.
They are rerouting around, though. Caster Starwind, Silent Demise, Trireme, they are all going around. Ooh, Lieutenant Carter gets spotted. Trireme takes a shot and misses. These misses on these T1s this battle.
T1s are either playing the slickest game of all time, or both teams need to kind of straddle up and finish it off what they started. King Kong gonna get completely surrounded. Nerve is gonna call the bluff on Cunningham, saying, I don't think you're protecting that well. 2 hit points won't matter as King Kong drops down, and Nerve's gonna take an early lead in terms of tier 8 battle. Silent Demise trying to get some shots and punish Nerve for their over-aggression, but as a result, nothing really has happened. Most of Nerve still has their hit points.
Nerve doing a very good job of not pushing too far after that push.
Oh no, Commander J is the next victim of the Nerve train. Psycho Killer trying to line up another shot, but still, Cunningham's, they're gonna try to jockey for this little nook over here in C3. They don't want to give it up yet.
Yeah, but Caster Starwind's gonna take a big hit from Marsh. They can't push into this right now. They don't have enough health. They have to back out. Right now, they're not going to win this brawl.
Uh-oh. Instead, they're going to get rushed down. Marsh 166, gonna completely charge all of the members from Cunningham's Trireme. The only member last alive, at least in terms of the tier 8s. The tier 1s are alive, but I don't think another Wreak Havoc miracle is in the writing on the wall. As you can see, that Cunningham's, they tried their best to initiate a push, but was shut down promptly by Nerve. All 5 of the tier 8s are still alive with plenty of health.
Yes, that was a great job on Nerve's part, spreading the damage on those IS-3s. You saw some people take a few hits, wait a moment, 5100s, you know, you have to decide to clip or just sit there with a few shots, and I think you had that Lechero and Marsh, 2 IS-3s against 1. I mean, longer fight, better damage for the IS-3s.
Battle number 4 goes to Nerve. They win 3-0. We'll be right back right after this. You're watching WGL. Don't go anywhere.